Hey, Steve Noble Moto. Got my buddy's 2010 Dyna Super Glide Custom up here on the lift today. And what we're going to do today is install some Viking saddlebags on this thing. Now this is going to be the first video in a series of club style builds on this thing. So we're going to do like a budget club style build on this Dyna here behind me. And this video is going to be spread out over time. So keep an eye on the playlist, like, subscribe, and all that jazz. That way you can keep up with whatever's going on with this build. First, let's take a look at these Viking bags. These are really cool bags. I've done reviews on my channel before with the Viking Voyager Sissy Bar, and I put some Viking Lamar saddlebags on my 05 Dyna way back when. This is going to be on the Viking Pantheon large hard mount shot cutout saddlebag. They're 32 liters. They got tons of space. They're really cool. But first, let's dig into what came in the box here, and let's see what's in here. So here they are, the Viking Pantheon 32 liter saddlebags. Comes with the saddlebag here. Obviously, it comes all wrapped in plastic. We've got that. We have got the hardware kit. Yay! They give you all the bolts and accessories. It's a really cool, complete kit. We've got the brackets. They're the brackets, right? Yes, these are the brackets. With some more hardware. And what else do we have in here? The other bag's already out. Here is the turn signal relocation bracket that will be required for this Super Glide, because we're going to have to move the turn signals on the thing. And also in the box is nothing. Yeah. So, dig in these things first. Everything is nicely packaged. That way you know your product will arrive in good condition. Now be careful when you open your packaging, because the keys for your saddlebag are in there too. So, got our left saddlebag here. Now, this thing, first things first, you got this cool outside pocket. They look a lot like the Harley Leather Pros that were on like the FXDX way back when. You know, the T-Sport. So we got a cool little zipper open pocket in here. Got some paper packaging just to kind of keep them from getting crushed. Thank you to Viking for that. You got lots of space inside this pocket. This is pretty cool. So you can stash your sunglasses in here, gloves, all that like quick go-to stuff that you might want on the side of the road or at a gas station, or even if you're just, there's some more paper. Or even if you're just swapping something out at a light. Need some sunglasses, need gloves, need tools. I don't care. Put whatever you want in there. But yeah, it's a really cool deep pocket with a very stout zipper on this thing. Nice stuff. On the top side of this thing, we have the lock, and they have the cool little stealth lever back here. This one comes locked. So, you'll need your key to open it. And it's just a 180 turn lock, so you don't have to leave the key in it. So you can either keep it locked or keep it unlocked without the key in it, which is nice and handy. Then you can grab that lever, flip that up, and open up the saddlebags. Check those out. Aren't those nice? So they're like vinyl or leather lined. There's like a lining in there. It's pretty nice stuff. They have all these little pockets in here. Who doesn't love pockets? Everybody likes pockets. So you got these little organizer pockets in here. That way you can stash stuff in there if you want. This thing just Velcros out, so you can take it out and load it up, or find whatever it was that fell in the bottom of it that you can't find now. I think just Velcro this back in there. Oh, it's a really nice setup. Got nice overlapping on the lid, so you shouldn't be getting any water in there or anything. Should seal up nicely. Latch holds it shut nice and evenly. So yeah, this is a nice product. Nice hard inside structure to it, but still get that like cool leather soft bag look going on there. It seems to be really well made. Yeah, so very nice stuff. It's got a very stout hinge on it. You can't really see it from where you're at there, but I swear to you, there's a stout hinge inside there, which is nice. Because I've definitely seen some saddlebags that the hinge was really janky and you had to be like super careful with the lid and blah, 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 blah. That's a pain. Nobody wants that. It's got a really nice quality latch. It's got a good lock on it. It just swings over. So yeah, nice like that right there. Also, on a personal note, I noticed from my last pair of Viking bags, this is a standard blank. This isn't some weird one-off one. So if you need spare keys made, you can just go to your local hardware store and get some made. So yeah, this is really nice stuff. Got two of them here. Move some stuff out of the way. Got a nice matching set. Very cool stuff. Check that out. Yeah. All right, so let's see what else is in this kit. So inside here with the hardware kits, we have all the mounting bolts. We have washers, more washers, lock washers. You want to make sure you use these because these improve the footprint of the fastener, makes it nice and wide. Make sure your bag mount is really, really strong. And that way it'll hold lots and lots of weight for lots and lots of miles. Have the brackets here. So this will end up going on each one of the bags. Kind of like this, and then these will go on there like that. We'll explain more as we get into it. But it's a nice setup. Should mount up nice and evenly there. So we'll set that out. And of course the exact same thing for the other saddlebag. You can see them all right there. And in this bag we have the rest of our hardware. So this is going to be your bolts, washers, spacers. There's a lot here. It looks like a lot because it is a lot. The nice thing about this is we have different size bolts. We have different length bolts. We have different size spacers. This may seem confusing, but I tell you, this is a really great way to do it because this allows you to have a little versatility for your installation. This way, if you want to have them out a little bit further, maybe to clear some weird accessories or whatever you may have, or you want them in there tight, this setup is going to let you do it. So also if you have like an extra sissy bar, extra brackets, whatever it is, they're motorcycles, we customize them. So this kit will work really well with a lot of different accessories. All right, we were recording there. Are we recording here? No. Let's not forget our audio on this one. So here you can actually see all the stuff that comes with it. So we have all the bolts here. We have all of the spacers, the lock washers, everything you can possibly need. Fender washers, more lock washers, more hardware. You're going to be good to go with this thing. This is a really, Now, in addition to this stuff, we also picked up a turn signal relocation bracket. So this isn't just a turn signal relocation bracket, this is also a layback plate mount. Very well packaged. So we got ourselves a layback plate mount here. That's going to go on there. And then we also have all the hardware for that right there. So we'll be able to install the layback plate mount, which will look cooler. Also, it's used for relocating the turn signals up to there because you might need a little more clearance from the bags. And sometimes the stock turn signals are kind of in the way, like they are in this custom. So first thing we're going to do is take the turn signals off of this thing. Now, they are mounted by one bolt right up in there. And that bolt takes a 1/2-inch wrench. If you have a 1/2-inch ratcheting wrench, it's going to be really beneficial to you because there's not a ton of room to get your hand in there. You can take the rear wheel off if you want, but that's a whole other thing. But the wire for the turn signal runs along the inside of the fender here and into the taillight. You can see it right there. So in order to do that, in order to get this taillight off of there, or in order to get this turn signal off of here, we're going to have to take the taillight off. So this is going to require a small Phillips screwdriver. And this should just pop right off of there. Take your screws out, put those in a safe location where you won't lose them. And the seal might be stuck a little bit, so peel with care. All right, we are good. So if you want, you can unplug the turns or the tail light by pressing that little tab down and sliding the tail light right on out of there. I'm sorry, the little tab is on the bottom there. There's a little tab there, it was on the bottom. Press that up with your fingernail. You don't have to take the tail light off. It's nice to have it out of the way though. Then from there, we have two turn signal quick connects here. There's this one here, and there's this one here. This one on the far right is the power distribution for the tail light. Leave that one plugged in. So on the turn signals, a little push tab there on the top. Push that down with a screwdriver. That comes out. Push that one down with a screwdriver. That one comes out. So now we're going to take our ratcheting wrench. Move the wire out of the way. Actually, you can pull the wire through there. And get our 1/2-inch ratcheting wrench up in there. And lefty-loosey this turn signal off of there. You can carefully slide the turn signal out. Fish the wire up through there. Just like that. Take your turn signal, set it off to the side. Now that our tail lights are off of there, now we can remove the stock plate bracket. This is just going to take a 7/16. Again, a ratcheting wrench is preferred, but you can do it with a box end wrench. And undo that top bolt, nut and washer. There's a little square-headed bolt right there that comes right on out of there. Now, I'm not entirely sure how they got these bolts in here from the factory, because you kind of have to bend the plate bracket to get the screwdriver in there. So, we're going to bend the backside bracket. And we're going to bend this one down a little bit too. I have a hard time believing they did that at the factory. But this plate bracket's not going back on, so it's really not a big deal. And from there, we can lefty-loosey that out of there. There might be a nut on the inside. There should be enough room to get your hand up in there and just grab the nut. Or you might have to put a 7/16 wrench on it. And there's your bolt. That'll be the top part of your bracket. Then there's two more down here at the bottom. Take the next bolt out. Now, if you gotta run your wires through, there's a little plastic plug right there. I'll push out. And then you'll be able to feed your quick connects through there, or whatever wiring you have that mounts up the tail light. If you're worried about the hole, once the plate bracket's on there, you won't really see it. You can technically put a little dab of silicone or something around it just to seal it up, some black silicone, but once it's on there, you won't really see the thing anyways. So, let's grab our hardware. So you'll notice this on the left is the old bolt that came out, and then the one on the right is the supplied bolt. And it's a little bit thinner because we have to take up for where the fender strut was. So we're going to set that down right there. So we're going to take the supplied flat washer, slide that down on there. And then we're going to slide that through the bracket right there. Then we can take our wire, slide it through the hole in the plate bracket. So you slide your wire through there, slide your bracket in place there. Then you can take your new bolt washer, slide it through, and start that into your turn signal mount. Just like that. Then tighten up that Allen bolt with a little dimple in place, and then repeat that for the other side. Now we have our 3 screws installed with our rubber spacer on the back. Don't stick this in there just yet. you want to make sure you snake your wires through there for your rear turn signals, because they go through this little hole right here. And when you do the second one, sometimes it's a pain because the wire's in there, so you'll have to position it all just right, and then it'll pop through there like so. We're going to run the wires up across the top. And then to make sure we get them to the right one, I'm going to snake one in there. Leave that one to the right. Snake the other one in there to the left. Actually, I'm just going to take the left side one and just plug her in. Now we can't get them wrong. The right side one isn't quite there yet. But from there, we can take these 3 bolt holes and line them up with the 3 holes in the fender. It should just sit down on there just like that. Ta-da! And there you go. It sits in place. From there, Viking supplied 3 lock nuts, and you're going to thread these onto the back of each screw. Now these are smaller than the ones that came off of there, so I would recommend you find a 1/4-inch drive socket and ratchet, or a ratcheting wrench before you put them on there. Save you a lot of grief. Where the fuck are my 3/8 wrenches? That's a 10. Fucking God's rounded. My nose is 3/8 wrench. Something in here somewhere. So that takes a 10mm socket. 10mm. So you have to go find that thing. And it takes a 4mm Allen wrench. So now all your bolts are in there and started. You can go around and tighten them up. These are nylon locking nuts, so they should stay in place. You shouldn't have to use any thread locker on them. All right, once that's on there, snake your turn signal wire the rest of the way through and plug that in. We're going to turn the bike on, make sure our turn signals work. Left turn, right turn. All right, we are in good shape. Now from there, we can just reinstall the tail light. So to install your tail light, just take your little plug there. Hopefully you got a little dielectric grease there. Dielectric grease is non-conductive grease. When the metal makes contact, it will conduct. However, if moisture gets in there, well, the dielectric grease keeps the moisture out, and it keeps the electrical current from arcing through the grease, because most grease is conductive. So that's kind of like having water in there. So, a little dab of that in there. And just plug that in until it clicks. Make sure you have it positioned the correct way. That way it plugs in. Nope, you hit it right the first time. It's like a USB port. Oh. Goes into the bottom one, not the top one. Bottom one. There you go. Gotta be smart in the plug. That was where I came up short. Then you can just scoot your tail light in place there. Take your 2 Phillips screws that hopefully you did not lose, and get each one of them started in there. Remember, in this case, and really all cases, you always want to get all the fasteners started in before you tighten any of them down. Keeps things from going crooked and binding up. Ensures you get the proper torque spec on everything. There we are. Now we're going to check that tail light to be sure. Got our tail light right there. All looks good. Front brake, which means it works, but for good measure, rear brake lever. All right. So there you have it. Your layback plate mount and turn signal relocation has been mounted on there. Now it's nice and clear to put your saddlebags on there. And all you got to do from here is put your license plate on there. So let's move over to this side and we're going to line up our saddlebags. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to line up the bags with the mounts. It's going to bolt into, let me double check this hole here and this hole here. So before we do this, we need to take that Torx bit out of there. I'm only doing one side at a time. That way the fender is still held in place and the sissy bar in this bike is still held in place. This bolt is a T45 Torx bit. Lefty-loosey that on out of there. There should be a retention bracket back there that it threads into. So careful that it doesn't fall out. It should just kind of stay in place. This chrome here is now going to be loose, so light touch with all that. So here's what we're going to do. You have two options. You can try to get a ink pen through here, which will fit. Then you can stick it through the holes and stick it through there and mark the holes. Or you can try to trace out this fender strut and transfer it onto the back. I covered it in blue painter's tape. I like to do that just because it's easy to draw on. You can scratch it. It doesn't leave marks on this. Plus, it's just really hard to see black ink on a black plastic. So, here's what we're going to do. And it would help if you had a friend for this. But if you don't, you can kind of just line it up here yourself. And now remember, it's going to be sitting out slightly further once your brackets are installed. You can put it there. Gonna have to figure out where the exact spot is you want it. I'm gonna try and line up with the fender there. I'm gonna shove a towel down here underneath to make sure I have good clearance. And you wanna make sure when you mount it, you have at least 1.5 inches or inch and a half in between your pipes and the bottom of the bag. All right, so we are going to zip tie that box right there. Now we can line this bag up here. All right, this allows us to step back and look at it. Move it a little bit further forward there because I'm going to want it in front of the shock. Something else to keep in mind, don't get it too close to your passenger pegs because otherwise they'll hit your passenger in the calf. And that's kind of annoying. So actually, I think that looks pretty good. So what we are now going to do is take a marker, trace this out. That's not going to work. And I'm actually going to trace the bottom of this strut onto that painter's tape. I'm going to trace the top of it too. So we're going to use all that info, 2 inches from the end strut, the end of the bag, and the marker and everything, and that will help us lay it out down on the table. Don't be a bitch. All right, so now we've got our bag here. I'll flop it up here so you can see it. Maybe. Try to do some of this upside down. So I measured out already the 2 inches from the end of the bag to the end of the strut. I've got this line across here, which is the bottom of the strut. I measured out from the other end of the strut in is 1 inch. Oh, that was not 1 inch. Make sure you measure it right. There's 1 inch. And then it's 10.5 center to center on the mounting holes. And on the front, it's going to be 1 inch up from the bottom of the strut is the center line. So right there and right there are going to be our mounting locations. Get yourself a 3/8 drill bit. You can even go slightly over and have a little bit of wiggle room on your mounting holes. Line it up so it's nice and straight. Be sure, double check, triple check, drill your hole. Again, be sure, double check, triple check, drill your hole. Wipe your dust off. Now we're going to take our brackets. Well, they should all be the same size. Remember, the long end goes away from the saddlebags or towards the motorcycle. So we're going to eyeball those, and then we're going to stick the bolts through them. Can't get it wrong if you stick the bolts through it. Then they give you this strut in here. This is like a strengthening strut. So we're going to move these to wherever it lines up at under both holes there. And it might be in some weird shape, kind of like this one is. That's okay. Nobody's gonna see it. We're more worried about structural than we are visual appearance. Make sure your ink pen or marker goes all the way through. Probably wouldn't hurt to put some blue tape down there. And then from there, drill through that one. By the way, after we're done, we're going to vacuum out the bags. There we go. Double check, make sure it lines up. It does. All right. And now the part everyone's concerned about, making sure your bags are even from one bag to the other. So we're going to take our bags. We're going to put them back to back here and open them up. Make sure they're not sitting on anything. Make sure they're both in the exact same angle. You kind of line the latches up for this. And you can put your ink pen through the holes. Make sure you have those two correct. I'm only lining up the top two because that's what actually holds it in place. The bottom two will go off the brackets. Now we can actually start lining our stuff up here. So this metal strut is going to go on the inside. So we're going to line this up from the outside here. Put our two, let's go through our mounting bolts here. Make sure we got the right one. Our two mounting bolts down through there. And we're going to open up the bag, go to the inside. So we're going to take these fine threaded bolts. Here's the way this is going to go on the inside. It's going to go through the plate, go through the fender washer. And from there, I have to take an ink pen and push the fabric out of the way, but should push right through there. You can slide your strut over the top of it and take your flange nut, snug it up on there. Then do the same on the other one. Now hopefully you can see, for the back bolt, we're actually going to use the smaller 5/16 18 bolt. So now as you can see, that fender washer is a little large for it. So we're going to put a lock washer under there that they supplied. Then slide that to the fender washer there. And we can slide that to the back like so, then out through there. And then this will go through the fender strut, and then one of the supplied 5/16 18 nuts will go on the back. Or you could call it a 1/2 inch nut because it takes a 1/2 inch wrench. Though bolts are generally sized by the size of the thread. But now, this one is also ready for install. Now we are ready for the bag install. Just so you know, this front one might be too long. You might have to cut it. I think we're going to be okay on this one, but keep it in mind. Should be able to slide that in there. And then you have that kind of flange nut that's mounted behind it. And you can take this bolt here and line it up to that metal plate inside the fender. And it should thread right in that metal plate. If the metal plate won't work, you can use one of the supplied nuts and washers on the inside there. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to slide the front one in. We're going to slide the back one in. The back one, I figure what we do with the nut we just had in our hand. The back one here, we're going to thread the nut up onto it. You have to put it in our fingertips there and slide it up, but it will get there, I promise you. Got the back one started in. Now we can reach in there from behind and thread in the front bolt. It should thread right into that threaded insert that is on the back side of your fender. And once that is up there and snug, you can torque that to spec. You're going to want to check your service manual to make sure you get the right torque for your year bike. Just like that. And last but not least, you can tighten up your two bottom bolts. There you have it. Saddlebags are installed. So there you have it. Bags are installed on the bike. You're ready to go ride. As you can see, it was a pretty easy install. There was no real major special tools. You're going to need a drill and some drill bits. And other than that, everything was pretty much hand tools. And Viking supplied all the hardware that I needed to install these bags. So it was a really easy setup. And I'm really happy with these bags. I really love that soft leather look, but still you have the security and weather resistantness of that hard case. There's plenty of space in these bags. It's really easy to just grab your bag, whatever you have in there, throw it down in there, boom, latch it, you're ready to go ride. And of course, you have the keys to lock it up to keep it all secure too. So, 5-star product from Viking here. Very happy with this thing. Went on really great, looks really great, really quality product. So, that's all I got.